Hey everyone, welcome back to the stream. This is episode 11. Thank you so much for joining. If you're new here and this is your first time tuning in, welcome. These streams are all about breaking down the latest in tech updates with a strong focus on Apple news and products. All right, so let's talk about some big announcements. Apple has made the biggest announcement in years. Their plan to invest over $500 billion into the United States over the next 4 years. This is a massive commitment that's going to impact manufacturing, AI development, job creation, and it's a clear sign that Apple is doubling down on expanding its presence in the United States. So what does this investment actually mean? Let's kind of break it down and see what it's all about. So one of the biggest pieces of this is Apple's plan in doubling down its U.S. investment in manufacturing. So their fund for that, the Advanced Manufacturing Fund, is going from $5 billion to $10 billion. This fund is meant to support American manufacturing and high-tech innovations. Apple has already used this fund in the past to help suppliers build factories and expand chip production in the US. So now it's doubling the amount of money going towards that fund. Now, with this massive expansion, we're likely to see even more investment into United States-based manufacturing and supply chain development. Another major move is Apple is building a 250,000 square foot facility in Houston, Texas, in partnership with Foxconn. This facility will focus on producing AI servers that support Apple Intelligence, Apple's new AI ecosystem. AI is clearly a huge priority for Apple, and instead of relying entirely on outside companies like NVIDIA for AI hardware, they want to build their own infrastructure in the US, which makes perfect sense. The facility is expected to open in 2026 and will create thousands of jobs in Texas. Apple isn't just investing in factories, though. They're also investing in people. This $500 billion investment is expected to create about 20,000 new jobs across manufacturing, research, and retail. And one really cool part, Apple is establishing a manufacturer academy in Detroit, Michigan to train workers in semiconductor production and assembly. So this is a big deal because it means Apple is not just hiring, they're developing a new skill force in the United States for the long run. Another huge part of this investment is Apple is setting aside 75 billion for AI and silicon research. A big chunk of this will go towards data centers and AI power hardware, which makes sense since, once again, Apple is pushing Apple Intelligence. They're also investing in chip developing, which means they will more likely be working on more in-house processors and AI chips for the future. So the goal here is to reduce dependence on outside suppliers and bring more of Apple's most important tech in-house. This investment isn't just about Apple itself, though. It's also about strengthening its partnership with suppliers across the US. Apple has been working with US based companies like Texas Instruments for years now. So now they're expanding that work to support manufacturing in all 50 states, supposedly, meaning we'll likely see more jobs created beyond just Apple's direct workforce. This $500 billion investment plan is a huge statement from Apple. It means more AI development in the United States, more domestic manufacture instead of relying on overseas production, more jobs, more workforce training, and a stronger tech economy. Apple has already been one of the most influential companies in worldwide, but this move, they're making a long-term commitment to to keep their biggest innovations happening right here in the United States. So, what do you guys think? Do you like seeing Apple investing more in the United States? Do you think this will change how Apple develops its products in the future? Let me know in the chat. What's up, Jaden? How are you doing, my man? And then Prince of Gaming 99. Hello to you too. Let's see what we got. Thanos over here. This is just a Apple recap of the latest news that we can find. And Roblox Girls, same thing. This is just a dive into the latest Apple tech news and products. All right, so let's dive into a major privacy debate that's making waves right now. The UK government has demanded that Apple provide a backdoor access to encrypted iCloud data. Um, and Apple is kind of refusing to comply. As a result, Apple has completely removed its advanced data protection feature in the UK, a move that has serious implications, not just for users in the UK, but potentially worldwide. So let's break it down, see what's happening, why it matters, and what it could mean for the future of data privacy. So, the UK's Investigatory Power Act gives the government the authority to demand access to encrypted data for national security and crime prevention. And so the second part is the iffy part, right? Crime prevention. And yes, you want to prevent crime if you can, but kind of like at what cost? This time, the UK government is going after Apple's iCloud encryption, essentially asking for a way to bypass Apple's end to end encryption so they can access user data. And this isn't just about criminal investigations. This is a broader effort to increase surveillance capabilities, including bulk access to data. If Apple were to fully comply, it could set a dangerous precedent here where governments worldwide could start demanding similar access. So instead of fully complying with a demand, Apple took a so called bold action. They just removed advanced data protection from UK altogether. So, advanced data protection is Apple's strongest encryption tool, giving users end to end encryption for iCloud backups, photos, and messages. So without advanced data protection, UK users now have weaker privacy protections, as some iCloud data could technically be accessed by government authorities. Apple has stood firm, saying that weakening encryption for one country means weakening it for everyone. This move isn't just being debated in the UK. Other world leaders and privacy advocates are weighing in too. For example, President Donald Trump compared this to compared the UK's request to Chinese surveillance, warning it could violate user privacy and civil liberties. The director of national intelligence criticized the UK request, saying it could compromise global cybersecurity and make it easier for hackers to exploit weaknesses. Groups like Electronic Frontier Foundation have also slammed the UK's move, calling it a direct attack on encryption and warning that this could set a precedent for more government surveillance. If you're in the UK, this decision directly affects your iCloud security. So we'll go over kind of what's encrypted and what's not. So things like iCloud keychain, passwords, health data, and iMessage chats should still have end to end encryption. However, iCloud backups, photos, and notes could be accessed by Apple if the UK government demands it. This means users in the UK now have fewer privacy protection than Apple users in other countries. The big question, will other countries follow the UK's lead here? If Apple were to comply with one government, Others could demand the same backdoor access. Apple has been very, very public about its stance on privacy, and it looks like they would rather pull a service like advanced data protections from one country than fully complying with the government's demand. But this also raises concerns about whether companies like Google, Microsoft, Meta might face similar demands in the future. This isn't just an Apple issue, it's a global digital privacy issue. The whole situation kind of brings up some big questions. Do you think Apple made the right choice by pulling advanced data protection from the UK? Did they have a choice? Is this simple move complying even though they're making it seem like they're not fully complying? Should governments be allowed to demand a backdoor access to user data? Yes, you want to prevent crime and you want to catch criminals, but at what cost to privacy? Does this make you rethink of what kind of information you store in your iCloud? So just let me hear your thoughts. Drop a comment in the chat. Do you trust Apple to protect your privacy, or do you think governments should have more access? Mm. Oh, and on a quick note, before we wrap up, the iPhone 16e is officially here, available for purchase. If you've been waiting to pick one up, I don't know many that have, but there's people out there. You can order it today from Apple carriers and major retailers. And if you're looking for deals, here's kind of what to expect. Like Apple and Verizon both have it for about $5 a month for a 36-month plan, give or take, which kind of totals out to about $200. T-Mobile also has a deal where I guess you can get up to $800 off. So it would make the phone completely free, even if you went higher up in storage. Boost Mobile, new customers can grab the iPhone 16e for about $200 when I think porting their number. And Apple Trade In, I think you can get up to $600 when you trade in an older iPhone. Early reviews are saying battery life is fantastic, the camera is solid, and the performance is pretty smooth. Obviously thanks to that A18 chip that's in there. But keep in mind, it doesn't have MagSafe, no dynamic island. So if those features matter to you, you might want to go for a regular like 16 instead. Would you consider picking one up? Let me know in the chat. Let me know. Why would you even use Apple instead? All right. In any case, I appreciate everyone who tuned in, comment, and joined the conversation. If you enjoy the stream, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. And if there's anything you want me to cover in next week's live, drop it in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next